Hello again. This is part two. I talked about the divisions, intro, body, conclusion in the last video, and now I'll talk about the main points. So the thesis, the topic sentences, maybe some details, we'll see. So in the introduction, remember I said this is the beginning of the introduction. The thesis is already underlined, and this gives more discussion to the introduction. So the introduction shifts from the Greeks in the ancient past to nowadays. Okay, and the rest of the article will talk about nowadays. And in the thesis statement, however, people want sports to be fair, like the topic of the unit, unfair competition. And then for this reason, sports organizations make rules about athletes, equipment, and the game itself. And I think I said in the last video, new technology is like equipment. And then, so it goes like this: equipment to new technology to high-tech swimsuits. So it's becoming more focused. Remember, I said the introduction is broad, and then the body paragraphs are more narrow, more focused. So we have this topic sentence. The story of high-tech swimsuits shows how technology can make sports unfair. Actually, that's not the topic sentence. The topic sentence is here. Several years ago, sports engineers invented a new material for swimsuits. So it's this new material. That's the topic sentence of this paragraph. So it's not this one. It's not the first sentence. That's like a introduction, a little background sentence to the topic sentence. So it's talking about new material for swimsuits. So first it talks about the new material, and then we have a switch from material to companies introducing these new high-tech swimsuits in 2008. So it's still talking about high-tech swimsuits, but it's talking about the introduction. What happens when the company introduces these high-tech swimsuits? In the next paragraph, we have another transition in the 2 years after the ban. So we know somewhere here that it was banned. And so it's developing this new idea. So in the 2 years after the ban, swimmers broke only 2 records. So this time, this is the topic sentence, the first sentence. And now we have another switch. Better equipment is not always a bad thing. Of course. New equipment can be good for a sport. So these are both topic sentences. They're saying the same thing in a different way. And notice, if kind of an extra detail, we're not talking about the swimsuits anymore. So this is developing another idea from the thesis. So it's saying better equipment is not always a bad thing. New equipment can certainly be good for a sport. And if you remember the thesis, it says, however, people want sports to be fair, right? So it's going back to this idea from the thesis that sometimes it is fair, right? Sometimes it's good. And then we transition to the conclusion. So it's goes to general statement, general question, like the thesis. When does technology create a fair advantage or an unfair advantage? Create an unfair advantage. And then they say something about the future. So a lot of conclusions can talk about the future because they can ask a question or they can give a suggestion. And then I'll talk about the conclusion later.